Hello and welcome to MGP358. I'm Kevin, with me as ever, there's Sheepdog, Anna and Pab. Say hello, boys and girls.
Hello.
Woohoo.
Hello.
Anna, try that again, or we'll redo the whole intro. I did not say woohoo.
One thing, Anna.
I'm not having you lot starting freestyling. This is where it ends if we all start doing our own thing on the intro. We've done it this way for 9 years.
It's hard, Kev. I panic every week because I'm like, well, how should I say it? What style should I say?
The same way you've said it for nearly 10 years.
Yeah, but sometimes I howl. Sometimes I say it in an accent. Sometimes I just play it cool. And I think, I understand where Anna was coming from. She's obviously just thought,
I've never noticed you play
I'm going to say woohoo. Sometimes I say sup. You know that. People appreciate that.
I don't like it. I really don't like it.
I sort of nod. As if I'm wearing a cap, I nod and I'm chewing a...
You doff your cap at us, do you?
But I think Anna obviously heard me say hello and just thought...
Sheepdog's here! Woohoo!
Yeah, that's what the listener does. I bet they all did it simultaneously. Some people probably felt that was, unison.
How are we all on this fine week, anyway?
Good.
We're all happy and delighted. We're all looking forward to Birmingham Comic Con tomorrow.
I didn't know it was tomorrow. I'm not going, but I thought it was weeks away and would have come, probably, but I'm not.
It's tomorrow! Or today, as people are listening to this, and tomorrow, because it's an all-weekend thing. But yeah, that's the exciting upcoming shenanigans we've got this week. Birmingham Comic Con. But of course, we do have the exciting shenanigans that have already gone on this week, which was me beating Pab at Crazy Golf with my 10-shot handicap. We agreed on a 10-shot handicap, which means I beat him by one shot, I think you'll find. We went on a play date with Pab in Manchester, didn't we, Anna?
We did.
We went to see him.
Yep.
He took us out on an adventure. He showed us the sights. He took us around a weird shop.
It is a weird shop, was it? It's an experience. I did say that, didn't I? You have to experience Affleck's Palace. It's bizarre.
Well, I remember seeing it when we were there at some other point when you lot were going.
I feel like we've walked past it many a time because it's next to the comic book shops.
Because I heard kids go, let's go to Affleck's. I'm like, what's Affleck's then? But you lot were being boring with comics, so we never got to go. But it was cool.
Well, no, because as we decided when we were 3 floors up the other day, if we'd have had Sheepdog with us, we wouldn't have made it that far in. So it was never safe to go in with Sheepdog because his hatred would have come through too soon.
Hatred of what? Oh, right, the shops that are in there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, no. I thought you meant of stairs. I was like, no, I've overcome the hatred of stairs. I can handle stairs now. I'm a new man, but no. I mean, to be fair, I don't know if I've told you this actually, but my wife she was away with her work colleagues and bought a Superdry jumper. And she bought another one the other day. It's one of her birthday presents from me. I had to go in with her while she bought it. It's not the sort of shop you can push a pushchair around. I mean,
it's not meant for old people with kids.
I did say to her, "Are you sure we're supposed to be in here? We've got a pushchair."
Well, no. The thing is, these days it's gone the way of Facebook. The only people who wear Superdry now are in their 30s and 40s.
Yeah,
so it's no longer young and cool. It's the youngsters have moved on because the old people started wearing it.
I quite enjoyed the fact that because to be fair to them, the jumper she bought was really comfortable and she really liked it. So she wanted to buy another one. Not exactly the same like I would have because I'm a normal person. She wanted to buy one a slightly different colour and risk it being as good or not being as good, which seems insane to me. But when she pulled it out of the pile, she accidentally sent all of the ones above it over the back of the shelf. So we just walked away and I laughed to myself and thought, finally, I've managed to stick it to him after all these years of bottling it at the door. But
you
they still
walked in there yelling C-bombs before.
That wasn't them.
I wouldn't class that as bottling it at the door. We were asked to leave.
But they've made money out of us apparently. They've made nigh on 100 quid out of us, which is outrageous because
2 jumpers it is. Blimey, I'd want them to be made of gold.
I don't think many clothing companies have made that much money out of me for anything I wear, which is why I wear such bad clothes, to be fair. But they don't do my size. I checked as well. Because she said to me, you should see if they've got anything. I was like, I don't cater for fat people. And they don't. Of course they don't.
Yeah, it goes against their brand to have fat people in their clothes.
Exactly. I mean, if they could get away with it, they wouldn't let ugly people wear it, would they? Let's face it. It's all brands.
Exactly. So Sheepdog's now supporting Superdry. I've beaten Pab at golf. I did beat him at golf.
With a 10-stroke
cheating again.
10-stroke handicap, he technically did beat me at golf.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but why are we going to have handicaps?
Because he had the home field advantage. We were playing on his turf.
That's the course that he's grown up practicing.
Yeah.
I've never seen it in my life, Sheepdog. I'll put it that
That's
way.
your fault.
If
You couldn't be bothered to do your research. You got a hole in one.
If I'd been there
on one of those
before,
holes.
if I'd been there before, I wouldn't have made us walk around the entire block to get to it when it was next door.
The thing is, though, you got to remember as well that you'd have the advantage of the golf referee. He'd know who you were, and he'd probably, all the people, the independent adjudicator. He'd
everyone's cheering you and booing me. I have to handle the pressure of booing and hissing. There's a lot of hissing in Manchester. Why does everyone hiss?
What?
Because you went to the snake zoo.
I wish we'd have gone to a zoo. That would have been amazing.
You went to a museum, Kevin.
I did go to a museum. I went to the
Snake
football museum, the National Football Museum, where I got to work on Match of the Day with Gary Lineker.
Funny.
Didn't know Manchester was particularly known for its football.
Well, me and Pab got to fondle some trophies. You know how when we were at EGX, they didn't let us touch the Premier League trophy because it's dirty gamers? Well, at the National Football Museum, we were allowed to touch it through snooker gloves. So we had to put on... We had to put
I thought you were
on
going to say like they'd won
gloves.
so many, they just had them all there.
No, we had to wear our little white snooker gloves, and then we were allowed to touch the trophies.
That's so
People
weird.
drink champagne out of that.
That's probably why they don't want people touching it. It's all sticky.
That's probably a good point. Don't want you to feel let down.
Yeah, but we got a good old fondle of some trophies. Got to do some commentary. Got to do some goalkeeping, which Pab cheated at again. Pab basically cheated at everything all day.
Pab, you're so unsporting.
The thing he does, we do these activities, and then he tries and then wins, and that's not how it's supposed to be.
I get the distinct. Whenever I played with him, I get the distinct impression he's read the rules and how to do it before we
mini
play.
golf.
And it's just not on, Pab.
Leave
Stop
Pab
cheating.
alone.
I almost considered throwing that game.
You should have. It would have been a
Because I
decent
beat
thing
you
to
fair and
do.
square.
I was like, no one's going to believe it, though, are they?
How dare you?
If I'm playing you ever, just throw it.
Okay.
Exactly. So, in addition to all of the shenanigans, if you want to see all of our shenanigans on the road, you should check out the vlog that came out earlier in the week. It was excellent. Pab's in it a lot, so there's a reason to watch it. My word, Harry Kane's just missed a penalty in my Football Manager game.
Oh, that makes me feel better. I thought you meant in real life. I was just like, that man doesn't miss penalties.
I spent £92 million on him for Manchester United just so I didn't ever have to see a penalty missed again. What is this nonsense?
The game's broken, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm
It's
doing a
doing
bug
better.
report. I'm genuinely a little bit thrown by what I've just witnessed there.
Anna, you're going to have to take the wheel. You're hosting now.
That was the most unexpected thing I've ever seen. Video games. Somebody talk about video games while I try and get myself back together again.
Well, Death Stranding didn't last long in my house because
No?
I don't have it
Is it gone?
anymore. Yeah,
How do you not have
hated
it?
Don't
Oh,
like
right.
it.
Because I went to game with it and saw our pal Dan, who described it as UPS Simulator, and said it wasn't the first one that had been brought back in for trade-in this week.
Oh,
What a
God.
surprise.
Oh, I hated it. The only thing I liked about it was Norman Reedus, because I like him.
But he was the red flag, Anna. What I liked about it was
No.
the giant red flag they were
No.
waving on the front cover.
He was alright in it, but it was just boring.
He's
And I-
Boring. He can't act. He acts the boring man who doesn't say
Well,
much.
I liked him, but the game...
His range goes from
Right.
to...
Did you haven't played the game? So
I've seen him act, though.
no,
He's
I
acting
didn't-
one grunt to another. That's all he can do. Fire a crossbow. Deliver a package.
I didn't like the game because I found it boring. It was just walking around carrying stuff that I just don't care for.
Lots of people talking about a baby in a jar, though. Was that not...
I like the baby, but it got in the way.
I feel
Fall
like
over and it cried. It's like,
what's happened here
I don't need that
is-
now.
I think what's happened with this game is for the last 25 years, everyone's seen the words Hideo Kojima on a game and thought that means good because it's also got the words Metal Gear and Solid on it. And because I never played Metal Gear Solid when it first came out, I've tried his games over the years and thought, this is just a steaming turd. This is literally a pile of turd. What is happening here? But everyone else has been blinded by the words Metal Gear Solid. Now those words have been removed. It's like people can see for the first time and they're finally understanding. But his games are always confusing turds.
I had no idea what was going on. Not a clue. I'd played it for 3 hours. I had no idea what they were talking about. I don't think I'm brainy enough to understand what it means.
No, you're not taking enough drugs.
Yeah, I think that's his point. Is his whole thing is he makes you feel like you don't know what's going on, and you have to kind of just go with it.
Yeah, you got.
Friends have tried to explain the Metal Gear story. I mean, Bouncy tried to explain it. I remember hearing he did a whole podcast with Dalek about the whole story up to the point of the next game, and it was just gibberish. I just sat there and thought, I either need to be drunk or on drugs to understand what the hell he's talking about. And I just turned it off. I just thought, I can't afford either, so I'm just going to turn the podcast off. But, yeah.
And that's the last we ever heard of Bouncy.
I'm relieved that this is... Because, you know, when you just think, this is my perception of something, I've looked at this game, that's going to be terrible, not interested, and then you wait and see what happens. It's always nice when it always goes the way that you think it's going to go.
But, like, I watched stuff about it and I thought, oh, that looks good, but then playing it was not anything I wanted to play. It was just bumbling around, picking stuff up, going from A to B, and then some rain appeared and everything went a bit wibbly.
So, every game he's ever made. This man's dined out for 25 years on his one trick of making you turn the console off. That he blew everyone's minds, and now it's finally caught up with him because he's changed the name.
So anyway, that's gone because I have no interest in it, and I have now got Star Wars,
Star Trek.
Why have you got a Star Wars game?
Because it is basically a mix of Tomb Raider, Uncharted, I'm not the Star Wars isn't. I'm not in or out, but
Star Wars, what?
I've watched Star Wars. Like I'm not averse to it, but I watched.
You probably watched new Star Wars, have you? Maybe I'm just thinking of Kev. I'm not trying to belittle you in any kind of sexist way. I'm just thinking Kev's so anti it. I can't believe that you've.
No.
You're a closet Star Wars fan. You've seen them all.
Watched them in secret.
No, I've seen one in the cinema because it was free, and I've played all the Lego games. Of Star Wars because I like Lego.
AKA,
you have a Yoda tattoo, don't you?
But like I was just going through YouTube, and that came up as the next video. So I was watching it, and there's clambering, and I like a game with clambering, so I went and got it.
She does like clambering,
and there's clambering in it, and you do some up and down with a saber blue thing.
Oh, you've got Mr. Tambourine Man in my head now, but I'm thinking Clambering Man instead, and it's just going around in my head.
The guy that's in it, his name is Cal, like Cal.
Oh, like Superman.
He is, like, I know him from TV because I've seen him in Shameless US, and he looks exactly the same. It's mental. I was like, I know that guy. Where do I know that guy? I know that guy. So I went to check out. I was like, oh my god, I watch him on TV, and he looks exactly like him.
Man looks like himself, shocker.
It's weird. No, because like
it's in a game, Kev. But Norman Reedus did in the last game. Why was that not a massive plus?
Because I wasn't expecting it to be this guy. Because I've watched 7 series of him in a TV show. And that's
how many R2D2s are in it?
I've seen 1, maybe 2. I'm not sure. I'm not that.
Hold the phone. R2. There's more than one R2D2.
Well, after I
thought that was his name.
Yeah, I think there are. I think they're models. I think there's like an R1D1 and a.
Yeah, so they're like claptraps.
You ruined everything there, Sheepdog.
Well,
everything I thought I knew about Star Trek was wrong.
My mind was blown when I went to Comic-Con the other week, and there was a boy blue one and a girl pink one, and I just thought. I mean, A, I was like, bloody hell, it's a bit on the nose, but B, there's more than one. And, yeah, so I'm just sharing some knowledge I learned the other week. There is more than one R2.
There you go.
So, like, I've played the first, 45 minutes. That's literally all I've been at uni. And I did some clambering. I did some more clambering on a train that was falling from the sky. That was fun. I did some hitting with a blue lightsaber.
How many blades does it have? 5?
At the moment, it has 1.
Oh, you need to up that. You need to get more blades on that.
I'm at the start of the game.
It's like a Gillette razor. Come on.
And then this woman came called...
All right, it's heating up a bit.
No, called Second Sister. Now, I have no clue what a Second Sister is. Couldn't tell you, but I have to try and beat her. But you don't beat her because then it goes to
That's misogyny.
No, I think it's because you're not strong enough because you're hiding.
Well,
and she attacks you, and then you have to press square, and then you get rescued, and then that's it. That's all I know. That's literally all I've played. I've not played enough, but yeah,
Did you say you'd got it, Pab? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
I've got
it.
Derailing.
I've
only downloaded it. I've not actually played it yet.
All right, okay.
Why is that, Pab? What have you been up to?
Not a lot.
Did derail Anna? She was speaking.
Yeah.
It's alright. I'll just quiet. I just,
I thought you were done. You said
no.
You literally ended with, and that's all I've done. So I thought that meant you were done.
No, that's what I've done in the game.
Okay.
I literally haven't done anything else this week except play another couple of hours of Assassin's Creed.
So,
not Odyssey,
to summarise,
Origins.
You were done.
Well, she sounded like she had more to say, and I steamed in with a point that...
Well, no, I'm enjoying what I played of the Star Wars game. Yes, it's out today. No, I think this is what I need to do in the future, is not look at anything and just see it the day before it comes out. Oh, that looks good, I'll get that. Because, I've not finished Borderlands, I've not finished the Outer Worlds, but I like them both, but they take up so much of my time. I could spend hours in them games. And I haven't got hours, whereas this game seems to be story-driven, quick and easy. I just need... that's why I like Assassin's Creed, because it's just do that quest and then you can put it down. Whereas with Borderlands, you do one bit, and then there's another bit, and then there's another bit, and it's just... Whereas... Assassin's Creed, and by the looks of this one, it's it's very linear, and that's what I need right now. But
you raise a good point about not looking into games before they're out. I think I've learned a valuable lesson this month, and I'm only saying this before Kev and Pab get into their reviews, because there was a lot of noise about a game that I was looking forward to until all the noise came along, and then I was a bit unhappy about some of the decisions, and it's kind of ebbed and flowed all month for me now, where I've been seeing news about things that are wrong with this game, and it's Pokemon Sword and Shield, lots of quality problems that have been raised online, and then it came to light earlier in the week that the person who'd been putting all these videos out, or the people that were putting all these videos out saying how bad the quality of the games were, had hacked them in a way that meant they were broken because they'd broken them, not because the games were broken. So all the disappointment and, this doesn't look very good, that I'd kind of built up in my head, turns out none of it was real, because they'd broken the damn game, because they're arseholes. So, yeah.
Who'd broken the game?
Well, so the guy who'd got it early had done some cheat on it, which meant he had unlimited balls and whatever. But some of the cheats he'd done whatever he'd done to it to make that happen, had meant that the frame rate kept dropping and things kept going a bit weird and a bit broken. So when the reviews came out and none of it was mentioned, there was a genuine point when I was sat there thinking, everything's a lie. These reviewers are saying this about this game, and I know that I've watched a video where it's absolutely falling apart. The bugs were as buggy as the Assassin's Creed game where the eyes are popping out. That specifically wasn't happening, but it was that buggy. And I'm thinking, how have they reviewed it and gone, it's the best game ever, when literally an hour ago I'm watching how bad it is? And then it turned out that, because he'd hacked it left, right and centre to make all these extra things happen.
Well, why would someone do that? That's
probably because they
stupid.
wanted to make the game look bad and damage them in advance. I think it was
But
genuinely
why?
a malicious act, and
Wow.
me and lots of other people fell for it because, I mean, what else? You're just seeing. It feels like you're seeing the evidence in front of your face. Do you know what I mean? It's there. I'm trying to say to people, if this is the game now, they're going to I had arguments with people on Reddit where I'm like, they will patch it day one if this is how the game looks now. Like, this is I'm like defending them, going, this is pre-release. It's not the real thing. They'll patch it, and people are downvoting me and calling me an idiot and all of this. And then when it came to
You are an idiot.
this person had
go on.
lied. Weirdly, I've had such a weird week. It's been up and down with it because I was disappointed they took out over half of the Pokemon. I mentioned last week about that, and they'd always said it was because it was too much work to rebuild them all in the new game. And then earlier in the week again, it came out that actually they haven't even rebuilt the new ones. They just copied them from the last game. So their reason that they said they hadn't done it, it's too hard to build 800 Pokemon from scratch, wasn't true. They just copy and pasted them, and they've just decided to only copy and paste 400 of them or whatever it was, which I'm kind of over now, but it seems really weird that they lied about it, and again everyone was going nuts, and I just thought, I'm not getting involved in any more releases of games. When they do Gen 9 in however many years, I'm just going to not read it. I'm just going to wait until it's out and buy it and not think about it. But letting Kev and Pab get on with the review, I couldn't buy it because of the whole EE debacle the other week. I'm going to get it on Friday when I get paid, and I'm going to enjoy it because it does look good, but I'm going to hear Pab and Kev tell me why I'm wrong, I imagine. I don't know.
Well,
No,
Kevin's
I
been
think-
enjoying it all evening.
Yeah, I've
so-
as I said to you before the show, I'm a good three and a half hours into it.
Even Andy's been watching it.
Yeah, Andy's been getting into it. It looks beautiful. It's obviously the best looking Pokemon game they've done. Graphically, it's really nice. Even the menus are nice and smooth.
Does it look
and-
better than Let's Go?
Yeah, it
Really?
does.
Because I think I was playing it with Ollie, and I think that looks amazing.
No, it does. It looks very, very nice. It's got some awesome character customization stuff that Anna will love, like proper character customization, not
What was
just
Andy
changing the
watching?
T-shirt
I
that you
did
wear.
hear if you make your character, apparently because the games are quite limited in the past, if you were like Asian or black or any other ethnicity, and you made your character that, your mum was still a white woman. And they never changed the family at all, ever. And apparently in this one, and the last one, I didn't know, but I saw all over Twitter earlier, in this one, it very much takes on board what you've put into it and acts like it is your family.
the mum was an older version of the character that I'd created. it was uncanny. It was like seeing into the future. But the menus are beautiful to just jump around, and I know it seems weird talking about menus, but it just feels a little bit cleaner. And I mean, going from the 3DS ones, which have always felt like I was playing an old game, even on the newer 3DS games, it always felt like I was playing a game from 10 years ago that had just been re-released, whereas this feels like a game that has a place on this generation of games. The cartridge I took out to put this in was Ni no Kuni, and it didn't feel like I was taking a massive step back from Ni no Kuni to play Pokemon like it would have done for any other Pokemon game, probably. It eases you into it really nicely. As someone who loved Let's Go, but that's the only Pokemon game I've ever finished. I've never made it past like the third gym on any other Pokemon game ever, because they just get too complex and confusing and boring, quite frankly. This seems to ease you in very nicely. It's got a nice little... It's almost like a little hybrid mix between the old 3DS games and Let's Go, because it's got the Pokemon wandering around, so you can just walk past them if you don't want to catch them or battle them. Certainly in the early stages, every Pokemon I've caught so far, I've just been able to throw a ball out. I've not had to weaken them down or anything first. So it literally is a case of you're walking around, you see a Pokemon. Right, am I interested in that Pokemon? If I want to catch it, I'll click on it, just throw a ball at it, and he's mine. If I want some XP, I'll go and fight him and beat him, and everyone will level up a little bit. Or I can just go straight past him and not worry about it. The XP is evenly spread between the whole squad automatically, which, again, that's a massive thing for me.
People are going nuts about that, but I like that. They do that.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. Yeah, I think that's brilliant. For someone like me, who isn't ever going to be super into getting the right balance of my squad and understanding what fights what and whatever. It's meant that I've just basically used my starter all the time, and there's just 5 other Pokemon leveling up with him.
In the old days, you had to take your, I'd have a baby that's just hatched as my cannon fodder. It'd open the battle. I'd have to swap him out, but sometimes he'd get hit by mistake, and then bring in the big gun who'd kill it, and then that baby
that's
would
the kind of
get...
nonsense that used to put me off having to do all that.
It'd be such a faff, because you'd be like, oh, I forgot to do it, they've just attacked, they've done nothing, now they're dead, I've got to revive the baby again, and now it's like, oh great, everyone's leveled up, excellent. I mean, it's the only annoying thing in Let's Go that does that is Ollie decided for some reason he didn't want his Rattata to ever evolve, and he wants it in his team, so literally every goddamn battle it's levelling up, and it's asking me if I want to evolve it. But I mean, that's very niche. Not many people have that problem. I said to him, why don't we just put it away? And he's like, no, I want it to join us on the entire journey. And I'm like, oh, for goodness sake. There is a stone you can get that stops that happening, though. I'm waiting for him to get to that point in the game, for his game, so that I can just put it on the Pokemon and it won't evolve. But, unless you've got a child who makes really difficult decisions that he knows are going to basically make the game harder for you, everyone levelling up seems like an excellent point.
Yeah, it's really cool. It eases you into everything really quickly. It never gives me too much information in one go that's going to confuse my tiny brain, but just kind of pieces it out nicely. And then what you get to the point where you go into I think it's called the Wild Zone, and the Wild Zone is incredible. It's just brilliant. You can just wander around it at your heart's content and just randomly catch random Pokemon. And I was enjoying just wandering around in this Wild Zone so much, I even went onto the internet and read some stuff about this game. And apparently your thing about them removing loads of Pokemon, which I still maintain they haven't removed any because it's a new game. But apparently this game has more Pokemon available to just catch in it than any Pokemon game has before. It's got all 450 of them you can catch in the game. Whereas previously, you could only do like 200 odd, and the others you had to bring in from previous games or something. The
issue there is basically these games are... I mean, I have no problem with these games being sort of 20-ish hour stories. That's enough. But the fun is that once you're done it, you have the extra thing you can do of just adding the rest in. It's just getting them all on the same point. It's not even that complex, or that you're not running around with them. You know, I mean, I'm conflicted because part of me sees why getting rid of them isn't that big of a deal for normal people, but for me, it was always quite fun. Just sat there trading, trying to get them, whatever, seeking people out who had what I needed. Because it was a bit like a sticker album then, and you just kind of say, well, I've got the 400 that are in the game, but I want the other 600 that exist in the world. Because in real life, I can't open a zoo and acquire one of every animal. You know, I can't.
Tried.
I wouldn't be allowed, frankly, and I feel like it is something I'd like to do. I'd like them to bring out the next game and enable me to just complete it and have every species in there.
Oh, perhaps they will do that. But for this one, I think I'm just really, really enjoying it. I've made it to the first gym, and I'm currently I've got the game paused on the opening ceremony of the first gym. And I've been and had a nice haircut and had my makeup done, and I've got a nice costume, and I've spent all my money on cosmetic stuff. I've got about 9 Pokeballs. Because
Did you go for the football one, the football Pokemon?
No, I've got the rabbit.
Yeah, the football one.
Why is it a football one?
It evolves into a footballer, basically.
Well, how would I know what it evolves into?
Because it's just it looks athletic.
I've read nothing about this game other than that bit I just told you about. I don't know. I didn't even know Pokemon can evolve. But what I have realised is I spent so much time just wandering around this wild zone because I was having a lovely, lovely time. That I'm massively, massively over-leveled for where I am in the game.
I heard people did complain about that as well, that you can go out... I mean, people are nitpicking at this point. The internet's full of idiots. But, people have said that you can go and level up to level 80 or whatever, and then when you go and do the gyms, they're all level 40, 30, whatever, and you're smashing them. But that's pretty normal.
Yeah, it's not to that extreme. I'm level 18 or 19 going to the first gym.
But you could be higher if you wanted to.
Oh yeah, It was just literally, I thought, right, I've been wandering around this wild zone for a while now. I'm running out of Pokeballs. I need to go and heal up anyway, so I may as well, rather than going back and healing up, I may as well go where I'm supposed to be going and go and do this gym.
Now I'm saying it out loud, actually, you can't be level 80 and going and fighting a gym at 40 because your Pokemon won't listen to you. So that person on the internet, again, there's a lot of people lying about this game. It's actually messing with my head a bit. I haven't read anything in a couple of days because I was getting to the point where I was like, people are just coming out with nonsense. There's a lot of people, but that was something I'd read the other day and thought, that's a bit frustrating that you can overpower yourself that much. And then I'm realising you absolutely can't, because if you're only at Gym 3, Pokemon of a certain level won't listen to you. I mean, that was the whole point of Ash losing the Pokemon League in the original series. It powered his Charizard too high and it thought he was a mug, so it ignored him.
Nice. I am interested in these raids that live in the wild zone as well. Where...
This is the thing I want to get it for, because you two are playing it. And I'm thinking, you'll be bored by the time I get it, but you're the only people I know who have it, and I want to do some raids out in the wild. What would be 3-player, I guess, unless we can find a fourth wheel. But I want to get it quicker for that,
because there is some big, powerful stuff in there, which obviously I can't take on my own. I had a little look and thought, whoa!
It does put AI in with you. But
I was still afraid.
I did hear that someone did one with AI and it put a Magikarp and a Pikachu in, and they were both really low level, and they all got destroyed, which is just an insane choice to make. But Pab, before we started recording, just to let the listeners know, Pab mentioned he had Pokemon. I mentioned I couldn't get it yet, and I was getting it later in the week. Mm-hmm. And then I felt like, Pab, you were over commentating on what you were doing.
I wouldn't normally be on here and playing a game, but because I feel
like you did it on purpose, though. Like, you're acting like you're innocent, Pab, but I feel like there was a little bit of cynicism in there.
No, I mean, what I feel like, I've just got to the wild zone, is it what you say?
Yeah.
And I wanted it to let go of the reins an hour ago. I've played an hour and a half. And it just will not stop holding your hand the entire way.
See, I like the fact it's doing it little.
I can see why they'd do it. I can see why they'd do it, but I wanted to say, have you played Pokemon before? You know what the deal is? Yeah, go on then. Off you go.
It does say, do you know how to?
Yeah, but it doesn't stop holding your hand though, because of the fact.
Mate, Gen 7 had a hour-long video essentially at the start. It's a bit like Ni no Kuni. It just went on and on and on.
I just want to go. I just wanted to get going and get let off and just saying, do what you want, sort of thing. And it's kind of forever just kind of going, no, go this way, do that, just go in that direction and do this and do that. And you are doing the general same thing as you do in the previous games. But like I say, I feel like I've just been let off the reins an hour and a half. And
if you're not in the wild area, I think the whole thing is quite straight. You can't deviate from the path of the game unless you're just going back where you've already been. There's, again, the phrasings online where it's like walking through a corridor, but I feel like, again, that's just people being
stupid. It's surely that it's more... I mean, the old games, you used to be able to just... You could get lost in that game. You could wander somewhere you're not meant to be. You could easily go somewhere you're not meant to be going to because you've gone the wrong way. So I imagine you can still do that. I don't imagine it's that linear, is it?
Kev would know better than me at this point.
I've literally got to the other end of where he is and gone to the gym, so I've not experienced anything other than the wild zone that wasn't literally linear, to the point where when you get to that first gym, it books you into a hotel for the night, and you have the option to either walk to the hotel or get accompanied to the hotel, and whichever option you pick, you just fast travel to the hotel. You don't even get to walk to the hotel yourself. So I've literally seen the main street that has the gym at the end of it, and I know there's a hotel somewhere in town, but I couldn't get you to it because I keep just magically appearing there.
I find it a little bit unsettling that I don't know what to think, because it sounds like it's fun, but it also sounds like they've not really done that much, and I don't know why. And I feel like there's a story here somewhere that's going to come out.
It feels a lot like, almost like a Pokemon reboot, it feels like because it's their first time on a proper console.
Yeah.
It feels like they've created something. And I know this was what the one last year was supposed to be, but I think that was in the end that was the kiddie game, and I think they've made something designed specifically for people who might just want to give it a go. Perhaps people who've enjoyed Pokemon Go or have seen Pikachu lunchboxes and fancy having a go at it. But I don't know that this is a game for someone who's been playing Pokemon for 20 years. It does feel like it's teaching them what Pokemon is all about.
Was literally, this is for people who've been playing Pokemon for 20 years. It's very weird.
I mean, that's not how it feels.
This could be the opening hours though as well. That could be the kind
I don't know though, because also,
over.
I mean, there is a lot of there's not any end game, which a lot of people have said is an issue. There used to be lots of things you could do. There's a couple of you fight characters called weirdos. You fight a few of them, and you catch a legendary, and then it's over.
Isn't all this like raid stuff and all this like live content
you
could be part of the...
But how many times are you going to want to get together and do a raid with people?
As long as they keep putting a new Pokemon in for it. There's a new Pokemon in the raid.
I don't know if they're going to do that. I'd love it if they did.
Why wouldn't they?
I'd love it if they did.
Apparently they've not put them all in, so why wouldn't they just stick a new one in the raid every now and again and keep people playing?
From what I understand, there's 400 in the game, and then there's another 40 so after last week's show I got an alert from Twitter that they'd found another 45 in the code that are like Squirtle, Bulbasaur, people like that, because they're not in the game. So when Kev was saying about it being for people who getting casuals into it or whatever, it doesn't feel that way because they don't have the obvious ones like Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur's probably the second most famous Pokemon, and he's not in it, but apparently he's going to be in it later on. It's weirdly they've gone for loads of Gen 1 and Gen 7. I suppose that makes sense actually. That's last gen and the first gen, but the actual game itself has more Gen 5 than anything else in it, which is a bizarre one. That's probably the least popular generation of all of them, but they've which again is good because they did say they wanted to give the spotlight to some lesser preferred Pokemon.
Talking of lesser preferred Pokemon, for the first time ever, I feel like I made a mistake last year because as you're entering the wild zone, there's two kids chatting about Pokemon, and you go and talk to them, and you overhear them saying something like, "You look like you've had a Let's Go adventure." And I talked to the first one who's holding a Pikachu, and she said, "Have you had a Pikachu Let's Go adventure?" "Oh no, it doesn't look like you have." You talk to the other one, and he gives me an Eevee because I had Let's Go Eevee. And I could have had a Pikachu, but now I've got an Eevee.
Great.
And I wanted the Pikachu.
I had Pikachu. I've got Pikachu.
I want the Eevee. I feel like I'm pleased that that's the case. They both get big. They don't evolve either. It's the same difference. You get a Pikachu or an Eevee that doesn't evolve, but Gigantamaxes.
Oh, really?
In battle. So all you actually need to do, Kev, is you need to borrow Pab's version, swap versions at an event, stick it in your thing, save a game, and then go back to them, and then you've got to save both.
I came to you this week. Next week you can come to me. Bring your Pokemon with you.
Sounds fair. Yeah.
I'll see you on Tuesday.
I can find out if any of the locals have it if you really want that Pikachu.
I'm not that bothered. I'm sure I'll get another one.
I'm sure you'll find them somewhere, yeah.
But he won't Gigantamax though. So go on, Pab.
Who cares? Right, so the thing is with this game, things that I liked about it so far. I like the fact you click on the map or you click in the menus and it tells you what you're doing. It tells you that
Ollie needs that. Bloody hell!
It tells you. Because the amount of times I've stopped playing Pokemon games because I turn it back on after a while and go, I haven't got a clue what I'm doing, where I'm going.
I get handed a console and I'm like, I don't know where to go, and I look at it and I'm like, how am I supposed to figure out at what point through the game you are? Like, learn to read. So now I'll be able to check. That's awesome.
It does point out, does it? When you bring up the map, it shows a flag where you need to be going, and the objective is at the bottom of the screen. Where you're going and what you're doing. I found that to be. I was like, what? Because you come out of cutscene sometimes, and I've just been, quickly tapping on the button, skipping through the dialogue because I don't want to hear it. And I just was like, what was I doing? I don't know. I should have been reading, really. And then it just click on the map, and it's there. Where am I going? What I need to do? That is just that might keep me playing the game because, like I say, the amount of games I have stopped playing because I haven't got a clue where I'm going and what I'm going to be doing that is kind of a game changer for me. I don't
Does it
think
not
that
peeve
was
you sometimes when there's a little star on the map and you just walk into it though?
No. I mean, it's just like a regular, any other game where there's an icon on the menu.
In any game, it's like, what, you want me to go to that point over there? Okay.
It's just basically saying like that's where the next sort of like that's
Story
where your objective is going to.
Yeah.
That's where you're going to. You don't have to go there. The other thing I liked is it just me or your rival that you had in previous games? Was he not like a bit of a piece of work?
Yeah, they're not rivals anymore. They're friends now.
They're like your mates.
Yeah.
And I was like, I
But
don't
they're
know.
still
how I feel
calling
about
each other rivals.
Yeah, the rivals because the brother of your rival is like the champion, the top dog sort of thing. He's like the champion Pokemon master fella, and he wants you to push him as hard as you can because then it'll make him a better Pokemon trainer or something. And you're like, okay.
There is a fair criticism on this one because the rival in this game is the exact person that's the rival in the last game. There's like literally they've just copied that across, and you're like, that's a bit cheeky. Just make a new character. Don't just. Last gen he was How, and this I don't know what he's called this time. Hop, yeah, but he's identical looking. But then that's part of their charm, I guess, because all the police are always Officer Jennies and all of the nurses and Nurse Joys. So I guess all the rivals are How,
your
Hop,
rivals
and...
like Gary or something like that. Was it something like that? Was it
only in the first gen?
Was it? I don't. Yeah, see, that's the last time I remember actually playing a game properly.
It's blue in the red and blue, isn't it?
Yeah. That sounds about right. But yeah, I like the there are some some things that make the game easier to play, a bit better to play. It's a bit more. I don't know. So far, like I said, the only issue I've had, I've been enjoying what I've played in the hour and a half I've played. Like I say, I just wanted it to let go of me and just let go and let me go and do my stuff. But like you said, I assume this is a lot of people's first Pokemon game. Well, barring Pokemon Let's Go, but this is the first proper Pokemon game. So you're probably going to need, especially if you have played Pokemon Let's Go, it's a different game. It's sort of a different game, isn't it? I'm not wrong in saying that, Kev. It feels like it's not Pokemon Let's Go. So yeah, I feel like there probably is some over tutorializing probably needed. I don't know about the. So you said there was loads of customization. I haven't seen that yet.
You need to get yourself in the shops.
I went in the shop and there was just like 10 grand jumpers.
Yeah,
I'm not paying 10 grand for a jumper.
That's.
Oh,
it's
I did.
Yeah, but it's just a different colour than the jumper I've got on. I don't want I want a completely different style.
I've got a fully coordinated yellow and white outfit now, including yellow framed sunglasses.
Yeah, I understand that it's where in the shop I'm looking at. It is very early on, so that's probably the thing. I want a complete style, completely different outfit, not just a different colour.
They had this in the last games, and I didn't buy any of them. My character's in the same dirty clothes they left their house with in the start of the game.
Yeah, I just want to stylize the character to
because it goes like this. Pokemon Go has that. My character's still wearing the costume I put on day one when I sat on the toilet in work. Setting it up. I've not changed his clothes since I got the game.
His?
I know, I set up with a man forgetting the rule. I've always had a man on Pokemon Go.
You should restart.
Well, do you know what? I actually thought, when I realised what I'd done, I thought, well, no, I'll keep it, because if they ever start selling the clothes, I want to know what clothes there are, because I quite like the orange hoodie that my guy's wearing. And I've been keeping an eye out, but they never sell it. Or if they do, it's not my size. I've seen people make their own, but they're always small. It's a good hoodie, though.
Excellent.
I tried to make myself feel better about you lot playing this game by I thought I must have something in the house I can play, and dug out Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon on the 3DS. And Pab talks about tutorials. Picking up where I'd left off on this, I had to go to some cave, and I was dying left, right, and centre, and I couldn't figure it out. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to restart. And just to explain what this game is, you are a person who wakes up and they're a Pokemon. And you're living in
I
Pokemon.
do remember this now, yeah.
And you get attacked by a load of other Pokemon. Another Pokemon saves you. You have to run away from the Pokemon that are attacking you. and you have to make your way through a forest, which they're all called mystery dungeons, and mystery dungeons are different every time you load them. So if you die, you go back in, it's different. What I found was the reason I couldn't do it when I loaded my old game back up was every time a Pokemon appeared in a dungeon and it starts attacking you, you're supposed to hold L and then pick a move to do and press it. I just sat there thinking my character was attacking back because I had two and one was attacking and one wasn't. I just assumed it was, and I kept dying and couldn't figure out why, and then it turned out it's because I wasn't doing any moves. So now I've played the tutorial and I've played through it. It seems quite fun. It asks you a load of questions about your personality and how you feel about situations, and then it picks a Pokemon that you are in your heart, apparently, which I'm a frog.
Snorlax.
Well, do you know what? I expected it to be a Snorlax, but they only picked from the starter Pokemon. I was very, very prepared for a Snorlax to appear, but I'm a Froakie. I think I'm intrigued because I pretended that Ollie was helping me answer the questions, but when it asked like what music do you like and he picked pop, I clicked punk, and when he asked something else, I picked something else against his will. So I'm a Froakie, but I'd be interested in getting him to do it and seeing what he was. But yeah, it's been really fun. It's obviously not as good as playing the brand new game. When you die on it, this is the weirdest feature I've ever heard of. When you die in this game, it says, would you like to go back to your save point and play where you left off when you last saved it? Or would you like to go to this island where you send a letter and then other people who are playing the game can send you a note and their character will come and rescue you? Or when you're out and about and you bump into people or whatever and you get street pass, it will send a character from their DS to your DS to save your character from the dungeon it's stuck in, which sounds fun on paper but seems really stupid now, years on, after the game's not popular anymore. But also, if you fail at the game, you basically got to go out and wander around the city and hope you bump into someone else who's playing it and their character. Like, I had a quick look online because I clicked that thinking it was something I could do on my own, and then I was trying to figure out how the heck I reversed it because I was going to lose my save game because I'd committed to it. Saves over your save and says, right, you've saved now, you're stuck on this island waiting to be rescued. And all the posts about this island were like 4 years old or whatever. I don't know how old the game is, but they were old posts. There was no one playing it. I tried sending letters out over Wi-Fi. They all failed, so I guess it doesn't exist anymore. But it did turn out you could just cancel your rescue mission and go back to where you'd last saved it. But as a feature, it sounds pretty innovative and cool. I could imagine if the game was more popular and bigger and whatever, that would have been quite a fun thing to go out and hope I bump into someone, even though we live in the wilderness, so it wouldn't have been particularly likely. But yeah, I mean, it's keeping me entertained while I wait to get the other game. It's quite funny.
Reminded me of so much, Sheepdog. You just reminded me of something that I wanted to say about Pokemon.
Go on.
The Shield, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a button I just got towards the end of this tutorial. There's like the YCOM. You've seen this, Kev? The YCOM stuff, where it's like you get stamps or something like that. There's stamps that show you've caught a Pokemon in this area, and I don't know how it works exactly, but from what I can gather, it seems like if you connected it online, you could potentially see stamps in the area. Stamps pop up of like, this person's caught this here. So you could be looking for, you say you're looking for to find a Pokemon somewhere, you could say, okay. You could go wandering around and say, oh, this guy's found one of these here. Let's go here. Sort of thing. It seemed interesting because I just kept seeing like, oh, because I caught a Pokemon and suddenly I had a stamp in that area that said, I caught this Pokemon here. Sort of thing.
You've reminded me as well, if either of you didn't if you got the Pokeball thing, the Pokeball in the Let's Go game that lets you connect it to Pokemon Go, if you never took your Mew out of that on Let's Go, you can put it in this game.
I don't know if I did.
I did.
Yeah, I did as well.
Before we go any further, as you can hear, Anna is yawning a lot in the background and has been trying to go to bed for the last 5 minutes. But I keep saying, wait for Sheepdog to stop talking. Wait for Sheepdog so you can say goodbye. And she's yawning louder and louder. I think she's getting closer to the microphone to do it, to make the point. So let's say goodbye to Anna. Bye, Anna.
Bye, Anna.
Right.
Bye-bye,
Right. What? Should I just stop the recording, people? I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, stop.
Yeah.
You stop your recording and do what you normally do at the end.
Alright. I'm gonna go to bed.
Bye, Anna.
Bye, Anna.
Bye.
Bye.
And now you can continue talking about your Pokemon buttons.
I think I'm done, but yeah, I should have played Mystery Dungeon more when I got it. I've got a few games where I didn't really get the most out of them when I first bought them. It seems quite cool. You've both made me feel a lot better about Sword and Shield. I didn't ask Pab what starter he got. He said he had a monkey. Did you get Grookey?
No, I got the rabbit.
You got the rabbit.
I always think the fire one. I feel like I've not learned. I feel in previous games you came across grass and water type Pokemon earlier than fire, and that's what made me think I would always go for fire now, unless I particularly had something that drew me to one of the other two.
It's a bit of a double-edged sword because the fire one's always meant to be hard because usually the first few gyms are weak against. Grass is always the better option if you want to beat the gyms. Because
I'll get plenty of grass Pokemon on the way to the gyms. That's what I'm thinking.
Water's kind of in between, and fire's always kind of hard mode. But you are right. Like you always end up with a Bellsprout or an Oddish or something on the way.
Yeah, that's the thing. That because you start off and you go. I'm collecting grass and water types pretty much on the way.
I've seen what they evolve into, and I want Grookey because he evolves into a gorilla with a giant drum, and he just looks cool.
Does he? I like the look of Grookey. Grookey looked alright. I didn't like the look of the tadpole fella.
Yeah, he evolves into a spy, and his dex number is 007 when he's fully evolved. Just thought it was quite clever.
Good.
He's a little.
That's pretty good.
He has his fingers in a gun shape, and I thought it's a water pistol, isn't it? He's going to shoot water out of the end of his finger. It's fair. That's the first time I've laughed at one of their designs. I just thought every angle of that, you've done a good job there. But yeah, I don't think it doesn't look particularly amazing. It's just funny how they've done it. But if it's got a trade thing in, hasn't it? Once you get certain points, you probably get all three of them eventually.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, well, I wouldn't normally. I would normally probably go for a grass or a water type. I thought, well, you end up with them all at some point. It's not like it's probably you always end up with them all at some point, don't you? So
yeah. Have either of you played anything non-Pokemon related? I'm out of it now. I've not got anything else to really say other than it's Community Day tomorrow.
Only Football Manager and FIFA, which are games that I play most weeks. I'm sure you're familiar with them. Football Manager actually releases for real this week as well. So it's out on the 19th of November. Not listed on Google Stadia's launch games, interestingly.
I saw that.
Which is also out on the same day. So we'll see what happens there.
Miles
Google Stadia.
Yeah,
I genuinely don't think anyone knows what's going on with Stadia. It's officially out on the 19th. My pre-order for my Founders Edition is still showing as pending. It's not been dispatched. I've not even had the option to choose my username yet, which they've told me will be as part of the dispatch process. So I don't think I'm getting my controller and my Chromecast thing turn up on Tuesday when this thing supposedly launches. So I think
I'm mortified. I told Toby Tarrant to invest in this when he said his laptop was broken. He went, I want to play Football Manager. What should I get? And I said, well, Toby, you want to get Stadia because you can play all the leagues in that, and it'll be great, and it'll involve using their processing power, not yours, and you can use any device. I sent a proper, genuine Stadia Football Manager pitch to him, and he liked it, so I know he read it as well. But if he's now gone and bought that instead of a laptop and it doesn't work, I'm like a damn fool, and the Tarrant family will never forgive me, Kev.
Well, what are you going to do? So that's out on Tuesday. And, Kev's got a CD keys link for it, which if you're not bothered about playing the beta, I can go even cheaper than the $28.99 that you can still get it for right now and play the beta today. If you're not worried about playing the beta, you just want the full game on Tuesday, I think it's $25.99 or $24.99 on CD keys at the moment, somewhere around that area, which you can get through my link, which Pab will kindly put in the description. I think it must have been you because you're the hardest shill that I know. I'm sure you got called out the other day, and the comments were well funny because someone said, "If I had a code, I'd probably have said it by now, but I don't." But notice how no one mentions they make money out of the code. It's some weird comment about how the discount you get goes to the person who told you
about the discount, and every response was, why wouldn't I just have the discount though? Why would I? Why is that a problem? And I just thought, I was reading it thinking, I wonder if they're calling Kev out because it's someone who knows you, and I just found it really weird that anyone would find it a problem. I'm saving a £5 on the game. I don't care whether Kev's getting a tenner for that or what. I'm getting it cheaper. Like, if Kev gets a new house every time someone buys it, who cares? I'm saving a £5.
I don't think this was aimed at me, because for two reasons. Whenever I mention it in a video, I always describe it as it's win-win. You save some money, I make some money. That's my pitch. So I always mention that I'm making money, and even in my little thing on Twitter, it says that it supports the channel quite clearly, right there, supports the channel. So
I don't get why anyone gets ratty about it. Is my point I was making. It was just someone I just thought. I thought, why aren't you getting there? Because they're quite big as well. I was like, why aren't you in on this? It seems insane that you've got a lot of followers you're not saving money for. And again, I feel like I'm sounding shilly now. I'm not trying to sound shilly. I just find it weird that someone if they were saying, buy this premium rate thing that's going to cost you more than that shilly, telling someone you were going to buy it anyway, why don't you save £5 seems like a great opportunity. But anyway.
Certainly does. Thank you for doing my pitch for me, Sheepdog. The link is down in the description. Thanks, Pab. If you can't find it in the description or you're too lazy to look, it's my pinned tweet on Twitter as well. Save yourself some money on Football Manager or anything else you want to buy on CD Keys, because it's a code for the whole site. So the link works for the whole site. So
never pay full price again.
Exactly. And I've also played some FIFA, but that is it.
It's on you, Pab.
I've gone back. Well, I've done the usual Apex stuff. We don't need to talk about Apex. That continues to be the only thing that I realistically put any time into. But I've gone back to Overwatch, particularly on the Switch. I'm playing on. Which plays great. I don't know if I talked about it when it came out. It plays. You wouldn't. I don't know if it's just me not noticing it, but I feel like it plays exactly how it feels like it plays on the PC. Not really had any problems with it at all. There's a new event over on Overwatch at the minute you can get a load of Mercy gear, like a skin, sprays and icons and what have you. There's a new event on, what's it called now? The Mercy Recall Challenge. There you go. And it's basically just play games. Just win games. You win 3 games, you get an icon. Win another 3 games, you get a spray. And win another 3 games after that, you'll get the new outfit for her. And seeing as Mercy is primarily the character that I play, I thought, well, I should probably give this a go. And I've been playing it on Switch, and it's been great. One thing I did want to say is I've got a new peripheral, which I've been playing with. I've been tinkering with.
What does that mean?
Yeah. This is so perverted.
You got any peripherals, mate?
I've got
I'm here about the
peripheral I've been tinkering with.
What would you call it?
I've been having a lovely time.
Are you looking for some peripherals, mate?
Not profiteroles. Peripheral.
I didn't say profiteroles. Like that they're not devious, Pab.
Why do you have to make everything perverted, Pab?
Peripherals.
Anyway,
go on, shows you peripherals.
I've got something called the Fixture S1, which is like it was originally called the. Is it called something like the Switch grip or something like that?
I now see why he had to sex this up.
I can't remember what it's basically something that you clip round you clip around the Pro controller on the Switch, and then you can slide the actual screen of the Switch into it.
Why would anyone want this, Pab?
So you can use because I find using the Joy-Cons a bit fiddly. Do you not find that at times?
No.
I find the Joy-Cons to be a little bit fiddly at times.
Is this the thing you were tweeting about?
Yeah, I tweeted it. Yeah.
It's like a little. It's a controller that you sit your screen
Makes
on
it look like an Nvidia Shield.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah. But
Twitter kept showing me that. I thought you'd tweeted it like 6 or 7 times, the same tweet. No, and it turned out my Twitter account just insisted on making sure I'd seen that you'd bought it.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of the most things I've had interaction with people in a long time. People asking me questions about it. But yeah, it's like great. It really is cool.
When people hear you've got your peripheral out, Pab, they're all going to have a look. You know that.
It's a really good piece of kit. It's like I say, it allows me to play the Switch.
What's it called?
the Fixture S1. It's from Fixture Gaming. They've changed. Like I said, recently changed the name. It used to be called something like the Switch Grip or something like that. I can't remember what it was called originally.
How much do they set you back?
I don't know, like $35. Something. It was on Indiegogo. I got like a Founders Edition and got my initials engraved into it and what have you, like you do. You can do all this like Founders Edition early bird thing or whatever it was. But yeah, I just like the fact that, and then people saying like, is it top heavy or whatever? It looks top heavy. It's not really, because like that angle, you can angle it like sort of thing, so it kind of like angles and tilts like over the controller sort of thing, so it doesn't feel like you're tilting, leaning forward or anything like that. But yeah, it's really is. Like I say, the Joy-Cons are fine for certain things, but after a little bit, my hands sort of like when I was playing like the Vita and whatever, my hands kind of like sort of cramped up a little bit, and like it felt like I can't play this for that amount of time that I want to be playing it. I play games for about 20 minutes at a time with the Joy-Cons, but I've played about easily an hour tonight on. Do
you play it sat upside down on a sofa with your head on the floor like the girl on the Indiegogo page?
No. I mean, I sat like lay down on my bed, face down sort of thing, just like.
Well, how did you see the screen?
Well, I wasn't face down, like literally. I was facing down. I wasn't face down. All right, okay, we're doing this. Yeah, but it's
gone 11 at night. That means I start to get silly, Pab. It's the silly hour.
Getting silly with it.
Anna's gone. I don't have to behave anymore.
Yeah, she'd have been told off by now. But yeah, like I say, I feel like, and because of the fact that it's got like the little, little grooves at the side, like so you kind of slide the screen into it like you would like the Joy-Cons. You slide it into place, and it kind of just sits in, and I can just tilt the screen up and just go, and it's just, I've not had any problems with it at all. I look forward to playing more with it. I mean, I won't necessarily. It's not something I could probably take with me travelling sort of thing. I mean, you could do. I'd probably use the Joy-Cons if I was going, like, if we took it away for, like to EGX or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, just playing it around the house or whatever. I never played a Switch docked. I don't know if you guys played a Switch docked.
Nope.
I don't.
Don't even have a dock set up.
No, I've got the docks there. I put the Switch into the dock.
That's how I show dominance in my living room.
Yeah, I always have the Switch docked at night, so I'm finished playing on it, so I charged it up. But that's about it. It's only there to basically be a charging stand.
No, I say this is my house. I know I can get it out and I can play it in a corner over here, but I'm taking over the telly.
Yeah,
and
you watch the telly on your iPad.
Yeah, you go upstairs, whatever, and it works. It just keeps them in line.
Anyway, like I said, that's partly one of the reasons I've been playing more Switch recently. But that is your lot from me.
When you said you'd played games you talked about before, I realised that it sounds like I haven't been playing anything at all other than Mystery Dungeon. I have been playing Ni no Kuni. I am worried about my attention span because there's a lot of story bits in that. I'm enjoying it a lot, but I'm also kind of like, get to the point. I want to move on.
Especially as you're going to take it out in a week's time and never put it back in again. You're done with that now, Pokemon's coming.
That's what worries me, because I really, really wanted this when it came out, and I got it. But it was one of those where we went out and Tesco's was shutting in like 10 minutes, and I ran around Tesco's and they didn't have it, and I had to buy other stuff.
Run.
No, I genuinely was busting myself to get round it. I think I spoke about it before, and Game is opposite Tesco's. I was in Hampton, and Game was shutting in 3 minutes, and the woman at the till was so slow, and I'm panicking, and I got it and everything, and I was so delighted I'd bought it when I finally got in and bought it, got home and everything, and I'm enjoying it, but I know in my heart of hearts that if I don't somehow complete this in the next week, which I won't because I'm not that far through it, it's coming out and Pokemon's going in, and it's just going to sit there. And this is what happened with it before, and it's annoying me because this game deserves better. It's such a cool little story, and the characters seem really good. And
well, you know what they need to do? Stop releasing it in silly season. It's their own fault. If they released it in May, then you'd have played it all the way through over summer.
they need a button that makes the dialogue a bit quicker, and it just needs a run button that is triple speed. Is what they did in Final Fantasy VIII was perfect. When I was playing that, everything was fast enough that I could just get. I was still reading it. I don't know. Maybe I feel like my brain's on fast forward, and this game isn't. That's the frustrating thing about it for me at the moment. Whereas when I put Final Fantasy VIII into ×3 mode, I was like, this is exactly the speed all games should be. And it was just perfect. And I feel like that spoilt me a bit because it gave me what I needed. And Ni no Kuni is trying to be all like, let's set the scene. Let's be really, here it is. This is how it's going. They're going to have a chat. This is going to happen. It's almost like Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul level of just build, stuff's going on, they're chatting or whatever. I just want to blitz through it in and out. I wanted to go in, get I got a magic wand for Giant Cat. I should have been able to do that whole thing in like 10 minutes, but it took me like 2 hours. So, yeah. But I am enjoying it. I know it doesn't sound like I am, but it's just wanting more time than I was hoping it would want. Which, I don't know. I might set some alarms so that in January it reminds me I've got it, and and the alarm won't stop going off until I confirm to my phone that I have put the game back in, because that works. I think that's what I need. I might have to. I might get Claire to put it in at some point as well. Just in January, swap this game no matter what. But yeah, I desperately want to complete it, but I'm also sat here trying to buy a Pokemon on like my credit card and get it delivered and all of this sort of stuff, and trying to resist that because I want to play the giant raid things with you and Pab before you get bored of it. And
yeah, we plan to do our final one on Wednesday, and then we're never doing them again after that.
Exactly.
We're both snapping the cartridges at that point.
I don't want it to be like Jen, I think it was 6, when I basically made friends with someone who was like 8 years younger than me. At that point, I must have been like, I don't know, well, it can't have been 8 years. I must have been like 22, and this like 16-year-old was helping me do some of the stuff, and I was just like, this is humiliating. He was like trading me Pokemon. Like I didn't speak to him or meet him, but it was like we had codes, you had to swap on a forum, and I just thought, you're a child and I'm having to rely on you to complete this game because I don't know anyone who's an adult who's playing it anymore. And I don't want to do that. But I'm sure I'll be able to find adults who are playing it in a week's time.
Well, we'll see.
Might not be you, but I'm sure I'll find someone.
We'll see. Right, are we done then, boys and girls?
We are.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, I'll just remind people once again that they can find us on the social media type areas of the internet, including Twitter, where we're MGUK Podcast, or I'm Lelujo.
I'm RB6K.
I'm at Pub 1986.
Anna has Twitter too, but you're going to have to find it by yourself because she's not here to tell you about it. Yeah. See you next week, boys and girls.
Have a good week.
Thanks for listening, folks.
You're welcome.